Hello, guys. Today's topic is what is wrong with online dating? Why are so many people frustrated with online dating apps? Why are we not getting the results that we desire? Now, before we talk about online dating, we need to consider the era before online dating existed. So, for most people, they would grow up in a small town and they would go to a school in this small town. They would make friends over there. They would spend a lot of time with their family. And then from there, they would go to college. Again, it could either be in that small town or somewhere nearby. And then you would make some more friends over there. And you would go to like different events in your local town. It could be the local fair, it could be any sports events, any volunteer events. And through all these interactions, you would most likely end up meeting your potential partner. And you would probably end up not dating more than 5 or 10 people in your whole life before you meet your partner for life. So that was the state before online dating. Now, that has changed significantly since online dating has started. So let's look at online dating for men. So, a lot of guys, when they sign up for these dating apps, they make their profile and they start browsing, and they quickly notice there's a lot of high quality women available online, which leads to this illusion of a lot of options. However, after spending some time of these apps, they realize that they're not actually getting that much response or matches. And out of these limited matches that they have, they're even getting much more limited actual dates. And this leads to a feeling of depression, and it makes a lot of men question their self worth. And this is a very dangerous place for a lot of men to be because they might be decent guys with decent careers, but because of their experience on these dating apps, they wonder if they can even actually find a partner or not. So, next, let's talk about online dating from a woman's perspective. So, once the women sign up on these dating apps, they create their profile and they start browsing through the men's profile, they notice that they're getting a lot of matches or a lot of messages. Now, the reason for that is because obviously men are the chasers and women are the receivers. And men swipe right or send more messages than women do because women have a lot more at stake and they're a lot more selective when it comes to choosing the right man. However, dealing with this abundance of matches or messages leads to feeling of being overwhelmed. So they decide to go on a few dates, and based on their experience, they're like, okay, there are a few good qualities about these men, and there's some qualities that are lacking. And this leads them to go on more dates with other men. And eventually, this gets into that spiral because of the abundance of options that's available to them, that they can keep looking for that perfect man out there, which checks all the boxes that they want. And the reason they have these requirements is because they have an abundance of options. And any small dissatisfaction um, leads them to basically consider going on a date with a new guy. And it's similar to this pattern of browsing versus committing to someone and giving them a chance to prove themselves in the long run versus them being perfect on the very first date. So now we can see that this the design of these dating apps has basically changed the behaviors for men and women. The abundance of options or the illusion of that we have all these options have led us to start thinking of dates as just transactions versus long-term investments. So let's talk about what we can do differently over here. So, a parallel way of thinking about yourself is as a product in a crowded marketplace. So, how can you be different from the rest? So, the first thing you can do, and again, this is all that's in your control, be the best version of yourself. Have the best wardrobe or the best style or clothing that you can have. Be in the best shape of your life that you can. exercise, go to the gym, do some sports. Excel in your career. Try to do well in your career. Make sure you have good goals. You are achieving them. Or if you're unhappy, try to find something that's better out there. Have some good habits. Read, travel, so that you have good knowledge and good stories to share. Be an interesting person. If you want to be with an interesting person, you have to be interesting yourself first. The next step, market yourself in detail. If you have an amazing product, it's not going to sell if you don't market it properly. And to market that, you need to have good quality picture, especially if you're talking about today's online dating landscape. Have a picture with a pet or an animal because a lot of people like that. Have a picture showing your interests like hiking, sports, and even consider investing in a professional photographer if you think your friends are not good enough taking pictures of you. At the end of the day, you're trying to find somebody for a long term relationship. So, this is the least you can do in terms of investing your time and money. After that, be clear about your intentions. Okay. Write down what your short term goals are, what your long term goals are. What do you expect from your partner? And show that detail in your profile. I'm not saying you need to write a whole book about your interest, but a little more detail will give the other person some in-depth knowledge of what kind of person you are and what you're looking for. This will help you stand out from amongst the rest who might not have anything written in their profile or just a few words. And lastly, try to offer a unique experience. People like good experiences that they can remember. So don't be that regular boring person who just goes on dinner dates or movie dates. Talk about your interests. You might have an interest in music, live music, or actually learning how to play an instrument, or you're outdoorsy, you want to go kayaking, you want to go golfing. Show that side of your personality to the other side. And if they're interested, they will definitely respond to you. So let's talk about the dating timeline. So earlier we talked about marketing yourself in the best possible way. And let's say this has led you to actually getting a match on a dating app, or let's say you approach somebody in person and you got their number. Now we need to convert that actual number into an actual date. And that's where messaging comes in. Now, messaging is key because, again, it's another skill that we need to use in today's day and age. You don't want to do any small talk. You don't want to ask any close ended questions, which will only get one word replies. And you don't want to do too much excessive texting. So start off very casually in a fun, playful way. Maybe crack a joke, try to impress her with your humor. And then ask her for her availability when she's available to meet up. A lot of times, meeting up during the week, depending on your work schedule, is a lot more idle than trying to meet up on a weekend. Because a lot of times, girls have busy weekends where they might be going out with their friends. If for some reason you only have time during the weekends, opt for during the day. It's a lot more relaxed. They might not have plans in the morning or the afternoon. So, you as a man need to lead the woman here. So, in the messaging, you need to offer some interesting date ideas. Now, earlier I talked about how you want to market your product in a crowded place. You don't want to offer the regular dinner or the movie date. Offer something different that will catch her attention. It could be a visit to a local museum or an art gallery, or it could be going to a golf course or Top Golf. Something that's a lot more fun and engaging. Once you offer these ideas, lock in the date, lock in the time, and go on that first date. Now, first date is just trying to get to know each other. Be relaxed, be engaging, use a little bit of humor. You don't have to narrate your whole life story or share all your weaknesses in life to her in that first date. You don't want to come across as too strong. This is just you trying to get comfortable with her. Once you have gained that initial trust and some mutual attraction, that will lead to a second date. And again, the messaging does come back again from the first date to the second date. And once you secure that second date, that's where you can ask the more deeper questions, ask about her long-term goals. This is where you can compliment her, show that you're actually interested in her, and you can also show your vulnerable side as well, which will create a deeper connection. All right, guys, thank you for listening. I hope this was helpful. If you have any other suggestions or any other tips to add to these tips that I've already offered, please feel free to comment below.